Swanson. Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Eric Swanson. I run the Habitude Warrior conferences and Speaker Hearts, and I'm so excited to be here at the Los Angeles Tribune online with this amazing summit. Hats off to the president, Mo, and executive in charge, Ava and Alicia and the team and Rex and everybody, all of you. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you all. We're so excited today to bring you just an amazing panel of experts, and we have a treat for you as well. But before we tell you the treat, I want to bring up the one and only John Kobach Jr. How are you, John?
Oh, I'm so great. And wow, it has been quite the week of leadership and counsel from so many speakers and representatives on the leadership hour. Well, on the leadership week here on the Los Angeles Tribune. But I am super excited for another session of this amazing leadership power hour, Eric.
It's so true. It's going to be amazing, John, with all of the individuals that we have. I mean, you were just mentioning, the whole International Leadership Week of the Los Angeles Tribune. And again, I should have worn my hat. Hats off to all of them, because they are changing lives. And, I was talking to a lot of them, from Brian Tracy to all these different gurus from Sharon Lecter, Les Brown, Russell Brunson coming up, and all these different Guy Kawasaki, and oh my gosh, the list goes on. And what's interesting about everyone, Ty Lopez, and I'm trying to remember, and Jay Abraham, oh my gosh, and Larry Holmes. I could go on. I'm going to take the next hour to tell you who was on this feed for the last 6 or 7 days. And the thing is, all of us, we're all equal participants in leadership for the growth of the world. And if you're sitting in your seats right now, or doing whatever you're doing and listening and watching this, you're in the right spot. So that being said, I'm going to bring up our first guest, John. So excited about this. I got to tell you guys though, we are at the Leadership Power Hour of Habitude Warrior, but we decided to do something a little special today during this panel. I know we've been on a couple days ago and a couple days before that. This panel, it's the female empowerment panel, is what we're bringing you to you, really. So excited about that. And what I'd love to do is I'd love us to bring up our first amazing guest. She's an amazing author. She's let me bring her up first. There she is. Her name is Katie Maris. How are you, Katie Maris? I'm going to unmute you. There you go. How are you?
I am doing so good, and I'm so grateful to be here with both of you. So it's just amazing.
Yeah, we should all give myself a high five. Just turn to me. No, don't hit me in the face. There we go. Yeah, the other way. So John, I'll see you in a little bit, because I'm going to interview the one and only amazing Katie Maris. And for those who are not familiar with this amazing young lady, she is a best-selling author. She's part of our authorship as well, #1 best-selling author in so many different books that we have. She's a TEDx speaker through the TED Talk family. She's a female empowerment ladies take control coach and leader. I'm so happy to welcome you here. How are you? You said you're amazing. So let me ask you a first question. I'm just going to fire off a bunch of really cool questions for you, Katie. First of all, you're up in Canada. Love that. I love my Toronto, my GTA. Is that the way they call it, right? Greater Toronto area, I guess. Right? So as a female, all right, we're probably going to go really deep, really quick. Okay. So here's the deal. Yes. All right. Here you go. Why are you a female empowerment coach to help females, and what are you helping them with? I know I'm going deep. I know you know what I'm talking about.
I do. So we're hitting hard right off the bat. So let's do this. I am a domestic abuse survivor, and I know when I got out of the relationship, I had two choices. I could sit as a victim, which I so rightfully had to do, or I could do something with it and choose a victorious mindset. And the reason I am where I am today, and I have to, admit, I just got out about 6.5 months ago, is because I chose that victorious mindset so that I could break the silence of the devastation that intimate partner violence and domestic abuse hides in the shadows. And I wanted to bring it into the light so that women, even if it's just one woman that goes, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. I I feel heard. If I can do just that, then I've done and lived my calling. So I
Which you,
77%
which you,
of women.
which you are doing that. I want to interrupt you and just say I praise you, because look, those watching you right now on this international stage might you see a very look at her smile. She's so smiley and beautiful, and just her energy is amazing. But it's interesting because you never know I know you're happy to be here. I get it, but this isn't an everyday occurrence. Maybe I'm guessing, I'm asking you your expertise. I'm assuming a lot of females and males, but in maybe a domestic violence situation, put on that smile, put on that face or that mask, and walk out there to hide what's really going on. Can you speak into that?
Yeah, for sure. I did for many, many years. And I can honestly say, though, right now, I am at the most joyful and calm and peace era of my life. So it's a beautiful thing, but it's a choice I've made, coming out of that situation. But 100%, nobody knows what happens behind closed doors. And when we look at social media and the way that we want to be perceived, it really increases the magnitude of the need to be silent and to pretend that everything is okay. And a lot, I mean, as I was mentioning just a second ago, 77% of abuse victims stay silent, and that's 1 in 3 women. And it's another crazy stat here is every 9 seconds a woman is experiences violence from an intimate partner every 9 seconds. So that's 6.7 women a minute. And 77% of those women are going to say nothing about it. And I mean, there's so many things like shame, it could be culture, it could be, fear, it could be, the not having it, because financial abuse, all the things. There's just so many reasons why women stay silent. Shame is a big one, and also not believing that it's actually happening. That's another.
Really? Is
Oh
is that
yeah,
wow?
yeah.
Do you mean maybe denial? Like they're in denial of it really happening, or they're saying, oh, it's not as dramatic or drastic for me in my situation. Someone else probably has it worse. Is that the mentality?
There's
I'm guessing.
that, yeah, for sure. And I can, like, personally, like, I remember, not too long ago, making a list of all the physical, assaults that I had, experienced. And when I got to number 13, I looked at the list and I'm like, oh, was it really that bad? And I had to give my
Wow.
head a shake, and it's got a lot to do. So women, or the world, recognizes domestic violence or IPV, intimate partner violence,
Mm,
when we see bruises, when there's physical assault.
mm.
Um, the deeper damage is the emotional, the mental, the psychological abuse, which then gets us questioning, is it my fault? Did I deserve that? Is
Mm.
it really happening to me? Maybe I'm making it all up. And these are regular things that survivors and
Wow.
victims think. Yes.
So
So
what's
back to
bring
your,
us bring
go
us to
ahead.
the answer. Like what is in your expertise, and because you've lived it, you're dealing with it. It's an
I'm
everyday
in it.
thing.
I'm in it to the present day. I'm in it. Yes. Like
Yeah,
I'm
you
dealing with
get
the
it.
aftermath, the after abuse. Yes.
So help people, if you could, give them techniques that you've learned that's helped you? And could you maybe 3 or 4 things that are like, here are the bullet points that you absolutely non-negotiably need to do, at least these 3 or 4 things. One is admit it, I believe you just said. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is find a community, find somebody to reach out to talk to. That's extremely important. You need to get it out of your head and have somebody to confide in. That's really, really important. The second thing I would say is the way you speak to yourself needs to change, because you are worthy of joy and happiness and having the life you want, need, and deserve. And so changing the stories you tell yourself is extremely, extremely important. Also realizing that you are doing a great job in the situation that has been handed to you, and celebrating the small wins. About 6.5, 7 months ago, I was celebrating having a shower, brushing my teeth, eating a meal, but I was physically and literally celebrating those things because I needed to shift my mindset somehow.
Like, maybe I can do balloons. Let me see if I can. No, it doesn't do it on this. Oh, it does. There we go. Balloons. So you're celebrating.
Yes, celebrating.
Right, well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish your thought. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, and then I think one of the biggest things is, it's that shift of mindset, but it's also saying, the positive affirmations, even when it's hard, and living in gratitude. And it's really, really hard to do, but it makes the world of a difference. So I have this mantra that I say, only good can come from this situation. Only good can come. And when you start to see a little more positively, even just within yourself, it makes it easier to see the forest through the trees. It makes it easier to reach out to somebody, because that's number one. You need to reach out to somebody. You need to build that community. You are not alone, even though I know you feel completely isolated. Reaching your hand out is the biggest step, and then following the rest.
Well, I love what you're teaching here and sharing. And I want you. How can people reach you? And I'm going to ask you another question before we finish this portion. But how can people reach you if they're feeling that way? Reach out to someone, but at least reach out to you, and you can steer them.
Yeah, please do. And most genuinely, like from the bottom of my heart, if there is a woman on here that is like, oh my goodness, I don't know who to talk to.
I mean,
or man, and it's just 78% of all abuse happens from men to women. But yes, men for sure. I've had a lot of men reach out too. But if something is, yeah, so you can email me, katie@katiemaras.com. I will answer. You can DM me on all social media. I will answer, and I will keep you anonymous. You do not have to worry about that. But I really, from the bottom of my heart, I'm here to listen, because I understand. I've lived it, and I'm still going through it. I'm still healing, and I'm still making that journey. So please reach out. You're not alone.
I love it. All right, don't go anywhere yet. I want to ask you one more question, and then we're going to bring up our next panelist expert. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I know it's a vulnerable. I asked you before the interview, and I literally asked you. I said, "Hey, how deep can we go?" And you said, "Bring it." I'm there for helping the world. So I appreciate you doing that. So let's shift just for a second. Okay, we just have 60 seconds left here on this portion here of the interview. But as a ladies take control movement leader, you work with, you empower women to cultivate leadership and qualities. How do you do that? What do you do to take them through that journey? Can you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that we, starting on that journey, is realizing that resilience isn't a ribbon cutting ceremony. Resilience is the small things you do every single day, and they deserve to be celebrated. I also believe that you have to realize that you are not defined by what has happened to you. You are not defined by your missteps or your failures or even your past successes. You are defined by what you choose to do next. And the beautiful thing is that once you make a choice, you always have to have an opportunity to make another choice. So take risks, step into your power, make those choices, and know that the missteps that might happen, or the wrong choices, or even the right ones, don't define who you are. It's what you do next that defines your outlook. So
love that.
So
love that. Go ahead, finish the thought. So you went so.
so important to take a look at the right now, being present, the future, but not too far into the future because you don't want to worry, but really let go of that past.
I love it. And I know you have a lot of different podcasts and communities and events and summits. And again, people can get in touch with you through Katie at katiemaris.com. Please look at,
Yes.
at the name of the spelling. Thank you, Katie. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank
You're the
you
best.
for having me.
Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Give it up for Katie Maris, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. We're just going to roll right into our next panelist expert, and her name is the awesome Erin Lay. Erin Lay, welcome to the awesome show of, well, the Los Angeles Tribune. First of all, welcome there. How are you, Erin? Great to see you.
I'm great. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor and a blessing, Eric. It's a beautiful, awesome. Beautiful week of leadership, and thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. So quick information, or I guess the biograph of Erin Lay. She's a life on track coach. She's an author, #1 best-selling author. We'll have to ask her how many right now, because I know she's in a lot of our books as well. She's a speaker and really a global leading transformational life coach and business strategist. So I love that. Erin, how many books do you have now? What are you now? #1 bestseller. How many?
I have 19 #1 best-selling books out right now. By the end of the year, I'll have 24 books.
Well, how do you do that? Oh yeah, I know. You work with us. You're awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you. I know there's a few questions that I might ask you, but I'm going to ask you a different one. Why do you do what you do? There you go. That's my main question.
I love doing what I do. So I tapped into this in 1991 with a cancer diagnosis and at 25 years of age. And at that time, my demographic was not represented. St. Jude's, that was for the babies and the elderly. But they told me if the chemo didn't work as fast as the tumor was growing, I'd be dead in a month. So I had to go deep really fast, right? So I tapped into personal development. I started reading the books. And I was a stockbroker before that, so I had no idea about personal development. And when I started reading the books about meditation and visualization and affirmations, all these things that I could do for myself, when the doctors would come in telling me I was going to die, like crying after blood transfusions and crazy antibiotics with a white blood count of 0, I was like, get out of my room. I had no space for self-doubt. I saw myself with excellent health. That's the only thing I focused on. So when I got through that experience, I was on fire to empower cancer patients. And I did it for free for years. The doctors at Sloan Kettering started having their patients call me at home because they couldn't explain how I kept living every time they said I'd die. And I went on to have 3 children that they swore would never happen. But self-doubt is a dream crusher. And I just love sharing what I learned with my clients, and I have clients around the world. So it's exciting. I love it.
You truly are changing. Yeah, you're definitely empowering and changing the world. It's amazing what you're doing. And coming from, like you said, a cancer, like I don't understand. So I have this image of you. So you had the cancer is what you call it. You're like, I don't want that thing.
Right.
And the doctor comes over and says, you're diagnosed with this. And you're like, nah, you slap the doctor on the way out, and then you came back and said, look, I beat this, check this out. And it's amazing, and you're changing people's lives that way. How do you take what you've learned there and really make a difference in people's visions and having them commit to decisions? And I love your tagline on decisions. So if you can share that, how important is it to make decisions, the right decisions, stick with their commitment of the decisions, and see the vision? Can you share about that?
Yes, it's my favorite topic. I'm all about vision and decision. Like, have a crystal clear vision for your life, exactly where you want to go. In the Bible, it says, those without a vision shall perish. And it's true. Then the world is just driving you. You're not in the driver's seat of your own life. And if you don't have a crystal clear vision, then, you're basically drifting. Napoleon Hill talks about that, hypnotic rhythm. You're just drifting in life. But when you have a vision for your life, and you know exactly what you want beyond your wildest dreams. I tell my clients, the sky is just the beginning. Somebody texted me the other day, like, oh, we can do anything. The sky's the limit. And I was like, nope, the sky is just the beginning. And then you'll start to see the decisions, because I'm all about vision and decision. Then the decisions you make will be in line with that vision. And then, you know, with regard to our subconscious mind, when you know what you want and the steps will come, the ideas will come, the inspired idea, you have to take the action, right? And then, but when you do that, you realize your goal. And like I said, I tell my clients and anybody that'll listen, have a dream that scares you, you know, like have a dream that's beyond your goals, you know, your vision, beyond your wildest, because if it doesn't make you nervous about doing it, it's not big enough.
I love what you just said. You're like, look, I'll tell my clients, and I'll tell anyone, whether they'll listen or not. You know, it's great. So what happens when somebody really truly gets rid of self-doubt in their lives? You know, as a leader, how important is that? You know, that fear.
Oh my God, especially as a leader, you know, because as a leader, I look at a leader as there's got to be congruence, you know, like what you say and how you behave, how you act, the actions you take have got to be in line. You know, that's congruence. And then they have to have a vision, you know, because if you're leading, you know, and you don't know where you're leading people to, that's not leadership. You know, so self-doubt stops so many, whether it's management, C-suite, it could be a CEO, CFO, you know, COO, or even the CEO of your own family as a parent. You know, when you have self-doubt, it keeps you back from literally having your real potential experienced. You know, I was saying before for a second about the subconscious mind, what we impress in our subconscious, and if it's self-doubt that we keep telling ourselves over and over again, like I can't do this, or oh my God, I'm not smart enough for that, or I'm not strong enough. If you keep telling yourself what you're not and doubting yourself, that will express itself in the outer world. It's law. It definitely does. So leadership is about, you know, getting rid of the self-doubt, because how do you trust a leader who doubts? You know?
Right. You're like, the leader's like, you could do it. And then you're like, and he's like shaking, or she's shaking. Like, I don't know how to do it. You can do it though. You know, like, they say to you, you could do it. But then they're like, I think.
I think you could do it. I think, you know, like when the leader says, I think this, or I think we could do it. No, like no doubt.
It reminds me of how I fired my financial advisor years ago, because I was making more money than he was. I was like, I had to push him out of my driveway. I'm like, get out of here. So last quick question. I only want you, if possible, please answer in 2 words. You can have them in the same sentence. Well, it'll be a short sentence, or have 2 separate words. But what do you look for? What are 2 qualities? 2 words. That's it. 2 qualities that you look for in a leader.
Definitely what I said about congruence, you know, because that breeds trust, and have a vision, you know, of that. To me, those are the 2 most important things. You know, discipline and all the other things will come into play. But if I only had 2 words, congruence and a vision, because that breeds trust.
I love it. Your 20-second parting words you'd like to share, and you're welcome to have people follow you if you'd like, or if you have a gift or something, you're welcome to share.
I would love that. So my parting words is a quote that I made up in 1991 when I was in the hospital bed, and mindset is everything. So I made up a quote, and it's celebrate life and you'll have a life worth celebrating. So those are my parting words. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, I have a book called Work Love, which is regarding leadership, team building, and establishing a culture of love in the workplace. So I'll send you a free digital copy, and you can email me at info@erinlay.com. Okay. And you can check out my website at www.erinlay.com.
No way. www? No way.
www.
Thanks, Erin. You're the best. You're awesome. And I love doing this. And like, I can't not do it. Erin, snap your finger for 1 second right in front of the camera. See you, Erin. Okay. So I love doing that. So we do that on our masterminds as well. She's awesome. Thank you, Erin, for being here. And you're pretty darn amazing. I'm going to bring back to stage Mr. John Kovach Jr. And come on back up, John, if you could. That'd be great. And just unmute. There we go. How are you, John? In fact, you know what, John? I'm going to leave you on stage and have you interview the next individual.
That sounds awesome. Well, I'm doing fantastic. Already kicking it off with this female power hour, which I love. The leadership qualities and the things that we're learning are absolutely amazing. I have the opportunity of introducing another great speaker on this session, and her name is Tigo, known as Teresa Goss. What is up, Tigo? And Tigo is the executive producer. She's a director, a host, an author, an MC, a speaker, a consultant. She's all the things. And Tigo, you might want to unmute for this, but I want you to know just how awesome you are. I mean, literally just last week, you saw your face up on a billboard in Times Square. How cool is that for an upcoming project and for many other things? But you're just killing it. So let me start off the question, Tigo, by saying hello, welcome, and I'm looking forward looking forward to what you're doing. What are some of the most important attributes or skills that you believe future leaders should develop to effectively empower others and drive positive change in an increasingly complex world? Tigo, the floor is yours.
The easiest answer for that is, being comfortable in your own skin, period. It's hard to get other people to follow you when you don't want to follow yourself. When you look in the mirror and you go, is it really only Tuesday? Kind of a thing. You got to get comfortable in your own skin. You sit there. I know a lot of people that over the years, they get upset because their projects aren't working or the people aren't following like they thought they were. And the first thing I say to them is what somebody taught me when I was an administrator at a nonprofit. It's like, if you won't read it, what makes you think they're going to read it? If you don't like it, what makes you think they're going to like it? The old saying of do something you love and you'll figure out the money thing later is so true. You got to be comfortable in your own skin. You got to be doing the things you love. And it's amazing when you do that, how the people, just your tribe, your family, they just come to you. I've met people in grocery stores that are great friends of mine. I didn't know them. I was buying bananas or something. And it's just, they got a great vibe. And I'm like, hey, let's go. And to answer your question about Times Square, yeah, my big head was up there. It was pretty interesting to look up there and see my head 3 stories, 4 stories, 5, whatever it was, high. But it was even more fun for the projects that we're working on to have you and have Eric and others to be able to put you guys up there and give you that moment. It's like, that was so much fun. And we're going to do it again. Yeah, man, we're going to do it again. And hopefully you guys can come out there and be out there with us this time around. We didn't invite a lot of people because, I wanted to make sure it worked first. So now I know it works.
So let me ask you a question then. I'm going to jump in because I love you and you're amazing, Tigo. You're changing the world. I love it. So let me ask this without getting specific about, well, here are the things to, sign up for something of our things. We're not here to promote, guys. So
right.
We're here to assist you in moving you to the next level of leadership. But let's say, we just talked about it a second ago, we're on, I should share it on the screen if I could, but I don't have time to. We're on Times Square. How does, the old saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Well, I'm going to ask you to answer to the audience right now. Tigo, how do you get on Times Square? What is the qualities that you look for? Because not everyone, you look, there's a very select amount of people that you work with and the right people. So how do you become a right person to have as a leader, to have people like you see the vision of that leadership, to say, that's the person I want on my billboards on Times Square or in my documentaries? Just in general, what do you look for?
Great heart. I mean, what I love about your organization and everything that you guys are doing is it's all heart driven and heartfelt. I came here, my mother said, I came here, serving and wanting to be there. And my kids say that my love language is service. What do kids know? They're in their 30s. Okay. But they say that, my love language is service. And that's what we look for. We want to tribe, a group, a family that is just that family, whether we're on Times Square or we're having a hot dog in Chicago or hanging out on a strip here in Las Vegas or going to a basketball game. I want to be with people that want to be with me and that put themselves out there in the right light. But at the heart of it all, they're there to help. They're there to serve. And that's what we do, so that's what we look for. It's not about how many zeros you have in your bank account or how many stages you stood on. If your heart is right, just like with you guys, you're in the right camp, and that's why I love being with you guys.
I love it. Okay, I'm going to shift gears for another minute while we have you here. community service. You know,
Yeah.
can you talk to me a little bit about that through your career? You know, you've maintained a major part through community service and commitment to that. How do you balance things like that and be so extensively involved in helping the community in every community?
Well, you know, the old saying is that people love to buy from people that they know, like, and trust, right? But you also got to be able to connect with them. And when I was a kid, you know, my parents were Southern Baptists. So at 8 years old, I had to go out and do community service then, you know, go help the neighbors with their laundry or their groceries, go rake a lawn or something. That's where it all started for me. So even in business, we start in service. You know, we have our events or whatever. If somebody calls me up and says, I really, really want to be there, but I can't afford the ticket, guess what? Bring your behind over here because that's where you need to be. This is the room you need to be in. I'll make the money somewhere else. It's not about that. So for me, community comes first and then business comes out of that. All of our clients are part of our family. You know, we're not putting
Mm,
ads, and I have nothing against people putting ads and all that. And they're just doing the masses. I've done that. You know,
right.
I've done that. I've made 7 figures doing that. Now I'm 60 years old, and dang it, I work with the people I love and help the people I want. And that's where we
That's right.
start. It starts with community, and then the business always follows.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love it. Love it. I said that 5 times. All right. So, John, would you like to just unmute and last parting words you'd like to ask about Kigo? And we can go to the next one right after this.
Well, sorry, I wanted to clarify. You asked what closing words do I have about Tigo?
I'll ask. Yeah, just you were supposed to say, "Hey Tigo, closing remarks," but I'll say it. Hey Tigo, your closing remarks.
Hey, you
and,
guys,
and
you know I
share
love you.
share how to
And
get in touch with you as well. That'd be great, Tigo.
yeah, of course, you know, but I got to ask you a question before you go and
Oh,
before you let me go.
yes. Let's
What did
have
it
you
feel
interview
like to
me.
you when you saw the social media going by and you saw your head on a billboard? That billboard was 18,000 square feet, you
Wow.
know? So that was just one. We had another one right next door, you know?
I've got a
But
big
what did
ego
that
now.
feel like to you?
It feels great. I'm bringing John back up to share how it feels for him as well. For me, it's amazing. I love it. You know, you look what it really feels like. If you honestly want to know my feedback on this, for me personally, it's to look at myself at Times Square and see myself up there and people were texting me going, I think I just saw you on Times Square. I'm like, I think I'm on there. And I looked and what it did was it told me I'm doing the right thing to the world. I'm bringing community to service to the community, and it's just another reminder that I'm on track for helping people. As you know, NDSO, no drama, serve others. What do you say, John? And I think he's frozen, so I will
He's
answer for him.
frozen.
He was so excited. Sorry, John. He was so excited for being on there. He was like, he basically said this. He goes, "Oh my God, we're on Times Square of New York City right now." And he goes, I got to go over there. I go, John, we're in California. We're on with Brian Tracy right now today. You can't go over there. He goes, oh, okay, next week we'll go over. So he was so excited. So Tigo,
Oh,
you're the
that's
best. How do
awesome.
we get in touch with you? How do people connect with you? And I
Best
know you have
way
a
to get
docu-series. We were talking about the docu-series, but we don't have time to go into that. But how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, best way to get in touch with me is either visit my website or send me an email. They're both really easy. Tigo@tigo.fm. Tigo@tigo.fm is my email, and my personal website is tigo.fm. I mean, it's really simple. Reach out. I'm always around. And yeah, who knows? Maybe they'll be on Times Square the next time we do this thing.
That's that's going on. So I did a rookie mistake by not saying what I was saying was, oh my gosh, the mute button wasn't hitting. So I was saying thank you, and Tigo, take a bow is what I said. So take a bow. Here we go. Thank you, Tigo, for being here. So sorry for the rookie mistake I just did, and I did that in front of a TV mogul as Tigo. Thank you, Tigo, for being here. So happy that you were here. Next, we want to bring up the amazing and awesome individual that I recently met. I met her about a month ago, and I'm telling you, she floored me with the way she eloquently shares from her heart and shares her life story and how she moved the audience. I was the first one to stand up and go and rush the stage to meet her. Her name is Allison Doss. Allison, welcome to the show. I will unmute you. You are now unmuted, and don't do the mistake that I just did. So tell us, Allison. First of all, how are you? I want to read a little bit of. I'll mute you for a second, and I'm going to read a little bit of your. I guess intro or bio or something, right, is what they call it. It says speaker, author. There, I'm done. So tell us, you're a transformational speaker and author, and you have a unique story and an approach that really inspires freedom, and that's really the key. So I'm going to start there. Tell us about that. Why are you doing what you're doing, and why is freedom so important in your unique story?
Doss here. I wrote a book because I was struggling with anxiety and fear because I was going through something in my life I'd never gone through before. The person that I married, the person that I love, the person that I had high expectations for moving into the future that I firmly expected to move into didn't meet my expectations. And I was floored that this is happening in my life. The person that I married, who presented as male at the time, came out as transgender. And I could not believe that there was something happening in my life that wasn't on my expectation list. And I thought that there was something wrong with me. There was something wrong with me, that I had brought this into my life, that just floored my self-worth. And I went on this deep dive to figure out why I was so disappointed with this person not showing up in the world the way that I expected them to. And over a year or two of all these healing modalities and really digging deep into what was with the fabric of my cloth that I was having such a hard time accepting this authentic person, a miracle happened. And I was gifted with this thought and feeling that the resentment that I had was simply my expectation of them not showing up in the world the way that I wanted them to. And with that came such a freedom from the fear and anxiety of my relationships with everyone in my life, my children, my friends, business partners, people that I cross on a daily basis. I realized that all of my anxiety in life had come from me trying to control people, places, and things. And when they didn't meet my expectations, I formed a resentment. And I lived in a delusion that the world was just out to get me, which had me in fear and anxiety. But getting on the other side of that, God gifted me with the situation that He did. I have found peace and freedom, and I must give it to women. And there's no light that shines brighter than when I help a woman figure out what their boundaries are, whether it's in a workplace or in a relationship, acknowledge the boundaries, establish the boundary, and have it recognized and received by the people around them. The light that shines and the empowerment that happens in a woman at that time makes my purpose so aware. I know exactly what I'm here to do.
You are for sure an inspiration to the world. I keep on telling you ever since I've met you like a month ago, and I call you every day to tell you this. I literally believe you are going to be one of the next voices of the world in what you're teaching about freedom, and I love this. Let me shift this a tiny bit and ask you, how you feel the best leaders navigate and balance their life. Is there a technique that you think that would really work for people and resonate with people growing into their leadership field as well?
For me, everyone on the planet has situations that arrive in their life, and they find solution to that, or they heal from that. What separates everyone else from a leader is the willingness to go back into the fire and bring others out and help them with the things that you've learned. So I think just the willingness, but you have to have a willing participant as well. You have to have someone wanting to learn what you've learned, as well as have the leader that's willing to go back in the fire and pull them out. And for me, my tribe and I, they're all very brave and solution-based, leaving no stone unturned. We're digging deep, we're dissecting and finding solution to the feelings inside, the feelings of others, and how can we help on a very deep level. And to me, that's very important in a leader.
Wow, amazing. So I have one more question for you. So I know that you've been sharing your time and your expertise, but really you put on the learning hat, right? The educational hat, and you've been surrounding yourself with some pretty amazing people. We don't have to mention their names, but you're in person with these 20 top gurus. What's one or two takeaways that you know about leaders that maybe you didn't realize before? What would that? There's got to be some takeaways that you got today about leaders. Can you share that with me?
Hard work. Hard work. I have always kind of thought, oh, these things will be so easy. I'll get to this place really quickly. And just being around the people that have been in this industry for decades, seeing the hard work that they continue to do on a day-to-day basis is so inspiring. I need to read more books. I want to read more books. There's a whole different way that I want to show up with less expectation, always excitement as they do as well, but less expectation for the timeline in which I thought things would happen, because everyone must pay their dues. And I'm looking forward to that because of the crew that I've been surrounding myself with.
That is awesome. I love it. And we're really full screen right now. Let me pull it back. So I love it, and I'm actually in the same event. I don't know if it's a mastermind, an event, experience. I'm calling it experience. And what I really learned also to share with you, Allison, and what we've learned with the leaders around us is that like you said, like it takes hard work, it takes diligent work, and it takes work that the rule of three. Right? There should be everything you do should be focused on 3 areas of your major life, right? And if it's not, get rid of it. So
right.
My mentor Brian Tracy used to tell me this, that 97% of the things that you do every single day attribute to about 97% of your. Actually, I'm going to say 3%. I messed it up. Basically, the way I look at it, 97% of the things you actually focus in on will translate into your income or your non-income. So make that your priority if you're growing next level, right? And it's all about, and that's what leaders are all about as well. Would you agree that it's all about growing? There's no stopping for leaders. Leaders, they reach this level and then they go to the next level and the next level. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and quoting Brian Tracy myself, always say yes. Say yes to service. Say yes to anything that supports that vision and that excitement where you know that you're going. Always say yes.
Absolutely. I love it. Yes. So will you say yes to me right now and give us 20 seconds of parting words, and how can people get in touch with you if you'd like them to?
Yes, I would love for you to go follow me on Instagram at The Real Boss Doss. Boss Doss here. At The Real Boss Doss. And if you are struggling with resentment and expectation and delusion that the world is supposed to cater to your needs, please let me help you at The Real Boss Doss. DM me and I will return the favor.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. We should put your hands up again like this. You should do a little bonus at your events and so forth. If people get their tattoos like this, then they get it for the next year. I'm just kidding. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Give it up for Miss Allison Doss. You are awesome. Thank you for being you. You're literally changing lives. Let's say hi to John before we bring up our next amazing speaker. I've unmuted you. You've unmuted you, and you are live.
I'm live.
Yes.
Gosh,
Good to see you
again, so much power. I just texted everyone and said, Allison is amazing. Tigo's amazing. Katie's amazing. Aaron's amazing. Who do we got next, Eric? Because this is
I'll
amazing.
tell you what, we have the amazing and awesome, a dear friend of mine, Natalie Susie, and I'm so excited to bring her on. I'm gonna say a few words about how I met Natalie. How I met Natalie. First of all, let me introduce you to Natalie Susie. She is a conscious communication and manifestation coach. That's hard to say, by the way. And she's an events expert. She's of course the #1 best-selling author. Everyone around me is, and she's a speaker, and she really helps people grow to the next level. And I just love her. And I met her through a really dear friend of ours who recently passed, but he really, I believe he brought us together, right? He really did. So, hi, Natalie. Please join the conversation. How are you?
Hi, guys. Welcome. Thank you for having me. I love that you just introed me and mentioned Court, because Court's anniversary was just like yesterday. So he's in the space with us.
That's right. Yeah. And we are still holding Court, holding
That's
him
right.
up. And one of Court's, one of his sort of, he knew he was, I can't even say it, but one of his things he really wanted to do was bring it full circle and meet up with Brian Tracy. And we got to witness that. Remember that? We had him and Brian together in San Diego a few years back. And it was an amazing time. But let's talk about you. And I know Court's here with us, right?
Absolutely.
He really is. He's watching this. There's got to be Wi-Fi in heaven, I'm sure. So, so tell us about why. Look, why? I'm going to say why, and you're going to be like, well, why what? And I'm going to say, well, why conscientious, and manifestation coach? Why not just coach? What's the difference? Talk to me about that.
That's a good question. So my journey is kind of like this, to keep it really simple. I'm a teacher by trade and by heart, as cliche as that sounds. And I was teaching, I had like a great dream job. I was teaching at San Diego State. I was laid off in the budget cuts. In 2010, I was drinking a margarita. I was like, I can make this better. And I had always been curious about starting a business. So I launched an organic, low-calorie cocktail mixer that launched on the same day as the brand Skinny Girl Margarita. And so it was sort of perfect timing in the market. And I learned all. What's that?
I said, now I'm thirsty. I want a margarita now. Continue.
So, I ran that company for 8 years, and I wore all the hats in business at that point. And right out of delivering the product out of the back of my Hyundai. And I did that for 8 years, and I learned like probably 80% of my hard lessons then. And as a result, I sold the company in 2014, and I started going like, what do I really want to do now? And what I really wanted to do is to help entrepreneurs manifest what they really want, and in the most efficient and effective way. And part of manifesting is being able to communicate with yourself internally so that you can communicate better externally. And so over the last decade, I teach a course called, Conscious Communication. It's a writing and communications course at UCSD. It's all about how do we consciously communicate internally and externally? And then from that, how do we remove triggers, patterns, stuck points that are in our way so that we can manifest and call in what we really want to call in. And that all stems from a challenging circumstance of running that first business.
Right. And the beauty of being in that business, and if you're negative in that business and it's a drinking business, all you do is drink, right? So that was great. I'm just kidding. So the point is, and you don't drink, I know that. So the point is, you learn from failures, right? You learn from the mistakes. We've all made tons of them.
So Richard Bach has this quote. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have so much to say on this. It's like,
no, it's
Richard
Bach I'm just one of the hosts, whatever.
that we teach best what we most need to learn, right? And so I always say, like, we teach best what we most need to learn. So I the conscious manifestation stuff, I spent my entire 20s struggling around money. I was broke. I was running a business. I was doing 3 jobs to keep my head above and my business above water. I was paying for all the bills myself. So it was like I was working 24/7, and I was like running into brick walls all the time around this business, around money, around alignment. Like I couldn't quite get it all sorted out. And I spent a decade figuring that out. And then when I came out of it and I sold the company through the process. Like I learned how to manifest and set goals and set intentions and meditate and visualize and all of that kind of stuff I learned in that process. And so that when I did it, I was like, I want to tell everybody how to do this so that they can get from point A to point B in the most efficient and effective way.
I love it. Okay. We have 20 seconds left. So in this, and we need to pass it off. I know the people in the green room are ready to go live with the next panel. So 20 seconds. So I'm going to ask you a wild question, and it's a 2-part. The first part is this: what is one word, only one word, of a quality that you look for in people that you want to work with? Go.
Oh, authentic.
Authentic. Right? That's what I want to hear. One word. Great. And what is one word that after they work with you, they can say, I'm now this? What is that one word that the client gets?
Manifester. Yeah. Powerful.
How can people get in touch with you, Natalie, before we pass it off?
Oh, just go to nataliesusie.com. Manifestation freebie is there. You can get all the stuff there.
Really? Okay, great. And you do some manifestation like assessments and so forth, and they can meet you there. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Everything is there.
I love it. Give it up for, I'm going to put you full screen for a big smile. There we go. Give it up for Natalie Susie, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Natalie, for being here. You are awesome. I'm going to bring up John just to say good night and last parting words. John, what is your parting words?
Yes, just wanted to say thank you again to the Los Angeles Tribune for hosting us, for allowing us to have this amazing Power Hour. Congratulations and thank you to Eric, Mr. Awesome Swanson, and Habitude Warrior, as well as Speaker Hearts, for all the great things that you're doing in the world, highlighting females who are empowering the world, creating leaders, and also facilitating leadership opportunities by serving the communities around us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. You're awesome. And I want to thank everyone here for this amazing female leadership panel, empowerment panel of awesomeness. And if you want more of this, come see us. Go to just go to masterminddiscount.com. Check us out and get a conversation going with us. Let's bring you into the fold. So I'm going to pass it off. I see everyone ready for the next segment. Oh my gosh, you're not going to want, don't leave, guys. Don't leave. Just ready. Okay, ready? Here we go. Let's pass it off back to the Los Angeles Tribune. Thank you very much. See you guys in a little.
Parisa, how are you?
I am good. It is good to be back, and we're getting closer to our actual grand finale of Leadership Week, which is wild, but we're here.
We are here. We've been here for the last 8 days talking about leadership principles. And thank you so much to Eric Swanson and your guest. I mean, what important conversations to have, because I think oftentimes we've been talking about leadership and we talk about how people show up in the world with their communities, but what a powerful conversation with Katie about what people are feeling on the inside that people may never know, and the strength and the courage that it takes to talk about your experiences, to inspire other people, and to know that your story and your experience matters, and to reclaim and fully walk into your space. I think domestic violence is something that is very challenging. It is a quiet and lonely journey, and one that often is hard to talk about, but it takes leadership. It takes strength to have these kinds of conversations. And so to everyone that was part of the previous panel, just so moved about so much conversation about going within, the walk within, right? The walk within, the conversations that you have with yourself, the being your own cheerleader, and just the organic and realness in the sharing. So it was, thank you to Natalie, Tiro, everyone that participated. What were your thoughts, Parisa?
You know, it's challenging to talk about things that are considered taboo.
Mm.
And even if you wouldn't consider any of those topics that were discussed as taboo, um, they're not things that are talked about often, and because they're not welcomed, they're not received well. And typically things that are not received well are looked at from a place of shame. And I say this as like as a collective society.
Mhm.
So it takes tremendous self-reflection, self-assuredness, belief, and really connected. Someone has to be really connected with that why to bring that forward, because there will be backlash, there will be criticism, maybe not this moment right now as they were sharing so boldly and so beautifully, but I do believe that's been the case. So I appreciate deeply. I've been a part of um conversations that are definitely considered taboo in across society as it pertains to women, and they get to be talked about, because if there is no awareness, there is no change.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Oh, if there is no awareness, there is no change. Like awareness is so key. Alison Doss, too, talking about her story and walking into her power when she realized that you can't have power over other individuals, right? And owning her story and owning her experiences that she has, awareness is key. These are important conversations. And there are so many individuals that to the outside world are seen as these large, big leaders, but on the inside, they are navigating challenges. They are experiencing experiences that no one knows about. And those statistics that Katie shared was really high about women in those situations. So, that's what it's all about. It's about having conversations. And like you said, it's about creating awareness and having conversations so that we can continue to change the world and really bring more awareness to what is going on, even if it's behind closed doors, and inspiring people to know that they're not alone, and that their story matters and that their voice matters. And, that's a big part of it, knowing that your voice matters, that everyone has a story and your story matters too.
Right. I
So,
think the beautiful part is that it really elevates this both and understanding. Is like you can be a leader and you can be both, someone that's walking through life and has walked through some things,
yeah.
and be a leader. Like leaders are not isolated and separated from these things called life, because life is just always going to be lifing, and we are all both and
Yeah.
in some way. So I
We
appreciate that.
truly are. And going within and understanding who you are is so important. And, the next guest that we are bringing, her name is Annie Papazian. She has worked with so many individuals, many that on her wellness work and her work that is inspiring people to go within in a way that you may not expect. I don't want to share too much. I know I could say a lot, Annie, because we've spoken before, but Annie, it is such a delight to bring you to LA Leadership Week, talking about health and self-awareness in such a different way, but an impactful way. So Annie, welcome to LA Leadership Week. It is so nice to see you. Would love for you to share more about who you are, what you do. You've worked with so many of the greats, Janet Jackson being one of them. You've gone on tour with her before, but would love to share more about who you are and your story as part of LA Leadership Week, Annie.
Hello, ladies. I'm so honored and so happy to be here again. I love it. Thank you. And I love to be on stage and speaking. So just give me a stage and I'll be happy to speak. So thank you so much for the intro. Yes, my name is Ani and I'm known as the body pain fixer. If you got body pain, love to get my hands on you to see what's going on, how I can fix it. Would it be from me looking at your genetic testing and analyzing to see what's the source of it, how we can create long-term action steps? Or would it be me getting my hands on you doing some really weird manual therapy techniques? I don't know until I see you, I speak with you. But whatever it is, from science to, as some of my clients say, the voodoo that I do, I love it. You know, whatever fits your personality and whatever is going to get you the fastest lasting results to live pain-free so you can move on and be who you are, do what you love to do for your family, for yourself. I'm so grateful that I was given that gift, that I can pass it on and share. And some of the icing on a cake is, as you mentioned, Alicia, is me being fortunate enough to work some wonderful people, travel the world with them, and I love it. So thank you.
Yes, Annie. I mean, you work with people, and I want people to really understand, because we were talking about pain and understanding your body and understanding yourself. You've worked with some of the biggest entertainers in the world on kind of pain management, but you're also an athlete yourself, and you're a big advocate of helping people understand who they are from the inside out so that they find solutions that are helpful for them. And it's not a one size fits all when you think about pain management. It can be easy to say, this worked for someone, so it has to work for me. And if it doesn't work for me, maybe there's something wrong with me. But maybe you're just not a fit, or maybe the way that you were created is not the same as someone else. And so what works for them is not going to work for you, nor was it meant to. So can you talk a little bit more about how you help people understand who they are at a more fundamental level so that they can really understand what is for them and what is not? Because sometimes we hear something, I'm like, I have to do it. And then when it doesn't work, it's like, there's something wrong with me. But it's not that it was something wrong with you. It just wasn't for you. So could you talk a little bit more about that, please, Annie?
Exactly. And I love that question, Alicia. It amazes me how well you remember when we have conversations and you bring it up. And I'm like, how does she remember it?
Listening.
Oh, yes, you have amazing listening and memorizing qualities. So, and that is wonderful. And throughout this whole week, I've been popping in and out the leadership week to listen to some just powerful people to speak about leadership. And when I was waiting to get on, my thought process was, we should be the leaders of our own health, of our own, how we take care of ourselves, we live pain free. We should be in charge of it. Be in charge and not say, oh, Ani, you're the practitioner, what are you going to do for me? Or you're the doctor, what are you going to do for me? It's like, no, we just give you the suggestions, what we were trained for like 30 years, but you are the one who's going to take those action steps. So some of the ways that I just love, because I hear from clients that I work with, is when I look at their genetic report and say, okay, you know what, this exercise is going to work best for you. Or ask them, look, when you eat this food or when you take this medication, does it make you dizzy? They're like, how did you know? I'm like, well, you have this specific gene that if you take, let's say, this blood pressure medication, it's going to make you dizzy. Or, you know what, if you're trying to lose weight, exercise is not the way to do it, because you have genes that doesn't allow your body to use fat as an energy source to lose weight. So let's see what else we can do. Or for me, nowadays you hear everywhere, intermittent fasting. I tried for about 8 months, between 13 to 18 hours intermittent fasting, didn't lose an ounce. And then when I was digging deep into my genetic report, well, I have genes that intermittent fasting is not going to work, because they call like the hunger genes. When I don't eat long periods of time, the body actually holds on to fat. So knowing that, we're all individuals. So knowing your own genetic report, how your body reacts to your environment, we can create like personalized lifestyle plans, from stress management to the exercises, to the diet, to even, can you smoke pot or not? How your body will react if you smoke pot. Because I can tell you, I went into full-on paranoia, having this weird conversation with myself just from getting the contact high. and realize that I have genes that I cannot touch, pot, or be around it. But knowing all that information, then you, whatever the lifestyle choices you take on, it's unique to you. So as you mentioned, Alicia, you can say, well, today is the vegetarian thing, so we're just going to become vegetarians or vegans, which is nothing wrong with it. Or, nowadays everything is keto. We're doing keto, we're carnivores. Well, just do what works for you. Don't compare yourself. Inspire your friends, your family, but don't compare yourself to anyone else, because you are unique with individuals. Let's just embrace that.
I love this deep awareness that you're bringing. It's very broad awareness, but it's also so specific. It touches on so many things. It's so good, like such goodness here. I would love to know if you had one area that you'd want someone to focus in on to help elevate their own awareness of their body. What would that be? Because I feel like as we get older, we start to just push things off because we believe this narrative of like, oh, something's going to hurt anyway. Just deal with it. Just ignore it. Move on. Life goes on anyway. But if there's one area or one tactic, one tool that could help elevate awareness about the body, what would you say that it is?
Oh boy, that is such a tough question. But I love it because usually, I love to speak to presentations. And one of the things I always, at the end, I end my presentations, every single presentation, with this. What is one action step you're going to take today that's going to take you one step closer to your ultimate health goal? Because for each of us, is if I tell you, okay, the only thing you're going to start doing today is drink one extra glass of water. But if that's not your thing, you've already drinking. So that doesn't, it doesn't make any sense for you. You're like, well, I'm walking away with nothing. But if I say, what's one thing that you're going to change, one action step, because we all can do that one thing. So that one action step that's important to you. Then it's going like today you do that one action step, you'll see the change. And then tomorrow you do just one more action step tomorrow. And I think that if we think that way, it stops from being so overwhelming, because a lot of us is all or nothing approach. And for some people it works, for some it doesn't. So you just have to be aware of, first of all, body awareness. I cannot ask you how many times I ask my clients, describe me your pain. Is it sharp, dull? Does it radiate with the movement? It is increases, decreases. Do you feel tingling, numbness? Any specific time of a day, the pain? They're like, it hurts right here. I'm like, okay, that doesn't tell me anything, So like for some people, they're not aware of it. But for some, they bring in with this anatomical, the language, that because they've done so much research. And I'm like, I love it. And
we love that, Annie. And we truly do, because, we're at LA Leadership Week, right? We've had so many individuals come and share their perspectives of LA Leadership Week. But what you just described there, it's around describing pain, but it can be for any area of someone's life. Sometimes someone says, I don't feel good. It's like, why? What is it about you right now that doesn't feel good? Or something's not working in my business. Well, what is it, right? And it can be very easy to overgeneralize how we're feeling as a result of us not being clear. And what you're saying is that the more you can be able to use words to describe what it is you're feeling and what it is that you're going through, the more you can figure out what does this actually mean, and what is that one step I can take, and then the next step, and then the next step. Like you shared, action is so key, but sometimes you don't know what action to take if you don't understand your starting point. And if you overgeneralize your starting point, then how can you create that pathway for your next step forward. Ava, I know that you just joined.
Ladies, and I'm going to take a more role right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching day 8, the bonus day of LA Leadership Week, and we're heading to final close. Annie, I appreciate this topic so much more than you know, because I am a former physical therapist, who also specializes on pain and has done a lot of pain, a lot of pain, therapy and work with people who are withdrawing from opioids at the time of that change. So this is very much appreciated. And one of our, friends in LA Tribune who is doing major things in the world to relieve pain is a friend and a sponsor of LA Leadership Week. So thank you so much, Annie, for bringing this conversation, such an important, powerful conversation. I will always say that we've had so much synchronicities and we can't make it up. Who's coming next is Murad Muhammad and Sir Kaya Redford. So talking about relieving your pain being very, very important for us to really be able to zero down and understand our bodies so that we can function optimally. We're heading to that conversation right now. So Annie, thank you so much. Alicia and Parisa, thank you for a powerful interview. We'll be right back with Murad Muhammad.
Don't focus on the pain. Instead, focus on the relief. You can get your body and your muscles back to a good place, that pain to be relieved. The truth is, we're going to experience pain, tightness, soreness, and even injuries. And you don't have to be a professional athlete to have back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, muscle discomfort, tightness in your legs, even stressed body parts. You see, Doctor's Touch created Erase the Pain to be your solution. Menthol to cool those areas and lidocaine to numb those areas. The goal here is muscle recovery and getting your body back to a good place. Find Erase the Pain on Amazon or doctorstouch.com. Your body deserves to be pain-free.
And we are back here live with the Los Angeles Tribune newspaper. Congratulations. Wow, it's been now 7 days of transformative thinking. We are the newspaper that is all about changing the status quo, disrupting the narrative in the world. We live in a world where there's news and media that's always focused on problems. And what we're here to do is bring solutions to the table. Not only that, but uplift, inspire, and empower people. And with that, I have an incredible leader who you've seen if you've been tuning in this week. This man is a dear friend of mine, Pete Rivera. And I want to share with you again why he's so special. He's a humanitarian. He's a philanthropist. He's a former boxer. He's connected to an incredible community of world changers, world champions, champions of champions that are all making a difference in the world. He's the CEO and founder of Revel Nation Enterprises, Inc., humanitarian organization, launching RevelU, a edutainment platform uniting academia, especially throughout Africa, where he's working directly with President Maada Bio of Sierra Leone and President Joseph Boakai of Liberia. I do need to get my pronunciations better. Pete is, as I mentioned, a former boxer himself. He's put this whole summit together of these champions, and I know that he's now going to be introducing us to his powerful team, the A-team, with his company. And they have in their own right an enormous impact in business and in boxing, and they're partnered up with Pete. So with that being said, Pete, super excited to have you back on and share with us a little bit about who are these two amazing individuals that you are going to be introducing to the Los Angeles Tribune worldwide audience today.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that introduction, Kaya. Ladies and gentlemen, Kaya is a wonderful, amazing CEO coach. And speaking of CEOs, we have two legends in the business world and pioneers within their respective lanes that I'm humbled and honored to call my partners within the company. So they don't work for me, they work with me, shoulder to shoulder, side by side. One of them is our executive coach, who has been there and done that with respective ratings, and then being in the ratings business, helping take ABC, ESPN, even Madison Square Garden out of the red and into the black, because this gentleman is in the ratings business through boxing and live events, and he's mastered how to make things go viral in a digital television world. And even the likes of Bob Iger recognize how he helped Bob Iger himself ascend through the ranks through ABC to ascend through the ratings, collaboration that they did to become the president of ABC. And later now, as we all know him and affectionately love him, is the CEO of Disney, who owns ABC. So, Murad Muhammad is revered by the likes of Steve Wynn with Wynn Hotel and Casinos, who they partnered on some projects together in the past. He's even received and fielded phone calls from Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones was interested in collaborating with Murad. So Murad Muhammad has not only been a wonderful force and a pioneer for the ratings business, the television business, live events, boxing, with over 50 world champions having fought for him, including on those cards, Mike Tyson, Donovan Razor Ruddock, Evander Holyfield. The list goes on and on. He brought Manny Pacquiao over from the Philippines and really helped Manny Pacquiao ascend here in the Americas, as well as, there's just too many to mention, too many to list. But obviously, he started off very, very young, as a young 17-year-old, protecting Muhammad Ali, being his personal bodyguard around the world, from everything from Rumble in the Jungle all the way to today's era. This man is a pioneer in the ratings business and in really creating movements from grassroots and really making sure that everybody literally tunes in. Speaking of pioneers, not only do we have on the show the wonderful, amazing Murad Muhammad, we also have the president of Revel Nation, and I may be the CEO and founder, and that's all a title, but I am humbled by this great man, honored to call him my brother. He is a gift to humanity. I wish I had 1/10 of his genius, but just being around him, I'm getting it by default. And this is a gentleman that has 300 patents and inventions for the world. He's on the cover of America's Who's Who right now for Marquis Who's Who. He is the reason why Lenovo, in large part, has ascended to becoming the wonderful, powerful name in the laptop world and marketplace. And so that is none other than Gary Kudak. So we have Murad Muhammad and Gary Kudak. Let's bring on the show the wonderful, amazing pioneer, Mr. Murad Muhammad, Dr. Murad Muhammad.
Dr. Murad.
Oh,
welcome
man.
to the show, buddy.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That is sensational. I thank you for the accolades. I love accolades. It doesn't blow my head up and don't allow me to get big-headed. I want to live up to those accolades. And you give me a motivation and determination to be everything that I could be. I want to give it back to humanity. Thank you very much.
Well, I tell you, go ahead.
Yeah, that's just hearing everything that Pete just shared. This tells me that you rised to such a high place and making being a pioneer in the world of boxing and the world of business. And I'm curious, for us, we're here part of the Leadership Week with the Los Angeles Tribune newspaper, and we have a TV show called Top Leaders Forum, unlocking the success secrets of the world's top leaders. In all of your life, what was a turning point, maybe a pivotal moment, a quantum leap moment, where a breakthrough moment, which put you on the path, maybe an adversity you faced or something that shifted to put you on the path of what you would have that created so much in your career?
What really motivated me was my daddy. There's 5 of us, and so I had 4 siblings. And my mother showed him my report card, but she left it for the last one. I didn't understand why I went last when I was the middle child. And my father said, this one will never make it. And in my mind, I created that you can't tell me what I cannot do. It's the will of God. So all my life, I did everything that people said I could not do. And I was able to create. And I do it right now today. When you speak of these men to walk in to HBO who never did boxing in their whole career, and not only did I bring them behind prison walls, I told them I'd do ratings. They didn't want to do boxing. They said, what type of ratings? I said, the maximum security walls where they burning the prison down. You can get my cameras behind there. And yes, I got the cameras behind when James Scott went to jail for 2 life sentences. And yet I made him a superstar, and they won Best Program of the Year. And I was with HBO for 27 years because I do ratings. That's my humble opinion.
Well, we thank you for your humble opinion. I tell you, Rod, you're such a gift to humanity. You not only brought boxing to HBO, you also brought boxing to Showtime. And you showed them how these live events on their niche channels could diversify their portfolio product of offerings for viewership. Tell me what it was like to walk into the office and convince HBO and convince Showtime to do something they've never done before, which is show live events and show live boxing. Walk us through that journey.
When you say ratings, I wanted to take them to another level. They only had about maybe 10,000 viewing audience. So I raised them to 20, and I raised them to 30. And of course, we got 40. But I went to ABC because they only would give me a fight every 2 months or 3 months. So I went to ABC. I went to CBS. I went to all the networks, and it was only 3 of them, NBC. And NBC, I did 500 million today on the ratings. And this is what I was called. I'm the rating man. And when I go and visit men of billionaires, I walked and talked with all the billionaires. And Jerry Jones was a billionaire, sent his private jet to pick me up. Michael Jackson, I'm sorry, yes, I did get Michael Jackson. But all of these men, Phil Knight, I said, Phil, you need me. He said, do I need you? He said, you know how much money I made last year? I said, 4.5 billion. He said, oh, you do know. Why the hell would I need you? I said, here's my card. Call me. If you're complacent, don't call me. He called me back. I said, you do need me, huh? He said, yes. I want you to meet someone. Who are you? I'm Michael Jordan. I said, you, Michael Jordan? All the children want to be like Mike, but I don't follow basketball. What can I do for you, Mike? I want you to launch a brand. I humbly submit. The bedroom of the children. So my mind is thinking 117 miles per second. I said, give me and put you on the ring. And sure enough, he became a multi-billionaire. And of course, I made millions, and I was able to get in the bedrooms of the children. And that's who I am, and that's what I do for all the networks.
As you're sharing these amazing accomplishments with, you know, the legendary brands, legendary moves happening in the back room, you know, we here at the Los Angeles Tribune, we have a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, that are leaders, that are, you know, we've had 220 speakers. We've had the world heavyweight champions of the world on here. We've had the biggest and the best new thought leaders, speakers, and so forth. You seem like you have a specialized knowledge. In fact, one of the summits we had was called the Think and Grow Rich Summit. You remind me of the book Think and Grow Rich, and the author Napoleon Hill, when he talked about specialized knowledge. Where did you get this gift and this talent to do the work that you do? Is it something you studied? Is it something you believe you were born for? Did you learn it? Did you get curious about it? I'm just curious, where does this genius come from that you've put into practice that it's become part of the most famous moves and brands in the history of the United States of America?
I can truly understand it. I study the greatest man that came along, and he created this company, the same company that my CEO of our company, Peter, and when he talked about Bob Iger, I said, Bob, I'll make you president of ABC. He said, Ron, I'm not a lawyer. They will never give me president. I said, watch me. I'm going to get behind you. I will not do business with nobody but you. Murat, I'm vice president. You did it. I said, no, we're going to make you president.
Wow.
And he became president. And he and I were so close is that my ratings is what made him, because there was nobody else doing ratings for ABC. So he went to become Walt Disney, and I have a letter sent to me. I've been with him for 20-some years, 25, he says, and he never lied to me. He always did something unbelievable. He's never fought on anything he agreed that he would do. So I have 50 world champions, 80 world contenders, and all my fighters pretty much millionaires because I paid them well, very well. I created $49.95. Bob Iger knew I was able to do that.
Pay-per-view.
And pay-per-view is why the 500 merchants that control the pay-per-view, they only wanted me to do $22.95. I said, no, it's $49.95 because I have that insight and I have foresight. They agreed. And in that fight with Tyson and Ruddock, because Don King left HBO, they had to put him out. I brought him to me. He was making $500,000 for Michael. I gave him 11 million. $5 million. I gave him 11 million. It was so nice. We did it twice. And I gave him 18 million for his second fight. And for the first time in the history of boxing, I grossed $117 million in 6 months. Never been done in the history of boxing. These are the things that I'm just giving you just a part of what I've done. But I was taught by my Jewish brothers. They took me under the belt and taught me how to write exclusivity and perpetuity. And I own all my rights in the network exclusively in perpetuity. And I give my fight to them for a year. And when the year is over, I bring it back to myself, in exclusivity, perpetuity. I give them 3 minutes. They can use it, but they can't give it to another network. They can use it for anything they want to use it for. So there's no one that I know that grew up amongst me and was African American has exclusive rights on everything that I created in the boxing world, including the reason I don't have this. It's our company. This man and the president, Gary, they are unbelievable. And God bless us to come together because we have something to offer to humanity, integrity, moral decency, and to be able to not want for yourself. I share it with all these fighters, the Larry Holmes, the Timmy Witherspoons, the Joe Frazier's, all his fighters. And I sold out every arena in Vegas. I'm the highest seller in Vegas. And Oscar Goodman was my lawyer who allowed me to be able to sell out every arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Let me jump in. Murad, he sold out the Indiana Pacers arena. He sold out the Tennessee arena. He sold out Madison Square Garden. He sold out Las Vegas. This man is a pioneer selling out arena after arena after arena back when nobody else could. He broke the code and he rewrote history. And nobody, and I mean no, in my opinion, I'm allowed to say this, I'm a Murad Muhammad fan. I'm not a Don King fan. I'm a Murad Muhammad fan. This man right here brought moral decency to boxing. When the FBI took down boxing and the flag man was behind the investigation, there's only one man that stood clean and tall throughout all the laundry, all the racketeering, all of the negative stuff that was going on with boxing. Murad Muhammad was the only major promoter that did not have a single scratch on his entire portfolio. And he has stood by his fighters. He paid the fighters more than anybody else would fight. He paid Mike Tyson from $5 million with Don up to $11 million with him. Boom, like that. And then 18 million after that. Boom, like that. This man made it happen. He leveraged understanding the ratings business and all the money from pay-per-view and give that money to the fighters. He was selfless and he was a pioneer and a visionary to leverage the income and the money, expanding the revenue streams above ticket sales when pay-per-view was a new thing. And this man was the pioneer of pay-per-view. That having been said, Murad, I know we got a lot to talk about and you can sit there and gloat and we got a lot more to talk about, but let's bring in our other guest who's waiting in the wonderful wings in the waiting room, which you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, from the Rebel Nation executive coach, the man of wisdom, which is Mr. Murad Muhammad. Now we have our president, who is a genius within his own right. He would never say that. I can say that. I'm allowed to say that. This man is a gift to humanity. He's on the cover of the Marquis Who's Who. He has got over 300 patents and inventions for Lenovo, for IBM, #1 patent inventor, 2012, 2013 for IBM. IBM and Lenovo split. Lenovo took him to the Lenovo side. Then he became the most prolific inventor for Lenovo of all time. He also has a TED Talks coming up later on down the road, which I'll let him speak about. But none other, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful, amazing mastermind behind a lot of the patents and inventions for Lenovo, Mr. Gary Kudak. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Kaya. Thank you, Murad. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
All right,
Gary.
so Gary, go ahead, Kai.
Yeah, Gary, you're hearing the conversation. What insight? What are you thinking as this conversation is developing between Pete and Murad and yourself, and what Rebel Nation is doing? What inspires you? What drives you and what you do on a daily basis?
Okay, great. I'll run with that. So first, I'm thinking about how to segue a conversation because I'm the quiet one on the team. But as far as what Rebel Nation is doing, it is a passion of life. The opportunity to be able to bless significant portions of the world that, there's undiscovered geniuses, throughout these regions that just haven't had an opportunity to have access to resources, to education, to people that actually care about whether or not they move forward in the future, not just a standard business plan to try to profit off of the people, but to give to them and to lift them up. And so, that I think is the driving force behind Rebel Nation, and behind the passion that we all have for it.
And you being everything you're doing, and also being part of this team and being part of Rebel Nation, it always means that at some point in our life that we connected to something, that a moment, a quantum leap moment, a breakthrough. What was maybe something that you grew up, you noticed, you saw a pivotal change in your life, maybe an adversity you faced that kind of put you on the path to being who what you've done with your career and what you're now doing today with Rebel Nation?
Sure. Okay, well, I'll start with a bit of a funny story then. I think that I've always kind of had a passion for problem solving in business. I actually got in trouble in kindergarten for starting a small company within my kindergarten class, where I was creating arts, and kids wanted to buy them, so they would spend a small portion of their lunch money. And business became so good, I actually hired sales staff, and they got a cut.
Wait a minute. How old are you at this point?
5. I was in kindergarten at that time.
You're in kindergarten and you're an entrepreneur and you have a sales team.
I did put together a sales team. It all came to light when my parents, ultimately, I think at the end of the week, I'd made something like, $6, and this is what, like mid 1980s. So my parents were called in, and I got into a lot of trouble and had to give all the money back after parents complained throughout the course of the week. But that was the first time that I had what you would call a business. And then, from that point, it's just been about curiosity and finding things that, to be passionate about. And I just don't have a lot of the skills necessary to be a full entrepreneur. I can solve problems. I can, I have passion and work ethic and all of that, but I needed somebody like Pete to come into my life to light that fire to get things to go the rest of the way.
I feel, so I'm a success coach for Fortune 500 companies and a creative program called Top Producers Global. We train the #1 offices and #1 agents in multiple industries, real estate, mortgage, financial services, network marketing. And I do a lot of philanthropy and humanitarian work as well. And it's interesting because we meet people that have this quality. They have this superpower. They have this insight, right? What do you feel, Gary, is your superpower?
I think it's creative problem solving, of looking at what is a market or a problem missing, what do we have access to today, what can we invent in the gaps that might stand between us and solving the problem, inventing where necessary and putting it all together into a solution.
So do you think that skill set, if we were to share some secrets to the audience, everyone has a business, they have a goal and a vision they want to achieve. Do you have any secrets to being a great problem solver? Do you have any advice or any tips to someone? You asked really good questions, like how you think around the problem and the questions you ask yourself. That's one I picked up right away. But any tips or any suggestions on how people can be better problem solvers?
I think I'm still trying to figure that out myself, but I think you identified the first thing that's key for me is identifying what the right questions are, and then researching, taking notes of what you can figure out on your own, finding help where you can't figure it out, and honestly taking the time to think about it. A lot of deep thought goes into real problem solving.
And what's perhaps the most challenging, most difficult problem you ever encountered that you had to solve?
Well, I think we're still doing that at Revelation now, but I think maybe the most difficult problem that I've had to solve was building a end-to-end solutions configurator for, at the time, IBM, which is now Lenovo. That was a contributing factor to becoming the #1 HPC company. There was a number of inefficient processes that was, causing things like quote times for massive supercomputers and all of that to be, 30 to 60 days, and then, building them and manufacturing another 60 to 90 and all that. And so it's a matter of understanding what the root causes are of all of the problems along the ways of the process, and then putting together a holistic solution that hits all of the milestones of solving each one of the problems in a very easy and efficient manner, and then putting together a team to execute on the vision.
And what would you say is the biggest reason why you said yes to Revelation and the mission? How does it grab your heart? What specifically about it is lights you up every single day to show up as in a powerful team with Pete and Dr. Murad?
It is definitely the vision of wanting to do things to help humanity on a larger scale. That is definitely first and foremost. I could spend all day talking about that. Second would be Pete himself. I've worked with a lot of people, a lot of executives. I've never seen somebody with his, though he won't admit it, his intellect, his strategic mind, his passion, and his ability to learn things very quickly, adapt, and then put together strategies. It's truly remarkable.
That's amazing. Well, Pete, I'm give it to you. What are some questions that you feel, knowing these gentlemen better than anyone else, perhaps other than their spouses, maybe would know them? What would be some great questions that you think that might help our audience know and understand maybe how to tap into greatness themselves, and or also how to support the projects that Revelation is really here to solve?
Okay, I'll start off with, this is multi-layered, a lot to unpack there. The first thing that these wonderful gentlemen have in common in our culture that we're cultivating with our executive seasoned Fortune 500 team is that the egos and the narcissism, the pride is mitigated. Like everybody is surrounded by greatness. I'm surrounded by greatness. And I'm happy to tell you, Kaya, I tell this to the team all the time. They actually come to my defense, but I'm okay with being the idiot in the group. I'm okay with being the least prowess, the least smart person in the entire group. These gentlemen are wonderful pioneers within their right. Their legacies speak volumes for themselves. And I am humbled to have their wisdom and their ability to think and solve problems around the team trailblazing the entire movement. So that having been said, what we are doing is we are bringing the Industrial Revolution to West Africa. The Industrial Revolution has happened around the world. Man, every single homeless person in America needs to go to West Africa. They will come back thinking and feeling that they're multimillionaires. Why? Because there's cement here, okay? There's infrastructures, there's road, there's heat, there's HVAC systems, there's cooling. There is food here in America. There is access to opportunity here in America. There is access to infrastructure, energy, all kinds of amenities here in America. All the homeless people here in America, for the most part, I wouldn't say all, but for the most part, somewhere along the way, hurt, pain, suffering derailed them from their hopes and their dreams. And that journey of fixing people with the armament, the internal core values, of having interpersonal skill sets, of being able to tackle and approach life is part of our battle, right? The other part is to bring infrastructure to the areas of the world that are underdeveloped, under-resourced, which we are doing. And Dr. Murad Muhammad's passion for humanity, his caring for his fellow brethren, his giving back, whether it's buying bulletproof vests for the entire New Jersey State of Police patrol, highway patrol, or whether it's helping the prison systems, whether it's helping HBO, whether it's helping bringing better programming to everything across the board and collaborating with Bob Iger. Whatever it is that Murad Muhammad touches, it becomes gold. And whatever it is that Gary puts his mind to, it becomes solved. And so you have to surround yourself as a CEO with a team that's better than you. You got to swallow your pride, swallow your ego, know your place, and resource them. Your job as a CEO is to make sure that they have all the necessary tools to do what they do best and get out of their way. Get out of the way, and you have no pride. You have no ego in this. You only have the ability to resource them to impact the world in a manner that you yourself cannot. And if you have that approach as a CEO, your company will rise above and beyond your impact. It will rise on a tide that has a higher billing, a higher calling, and it will do what it was intended to do. Solve the problems of humanity, bring solutions to whether it's water, agriculture, waste of energy, education, ed tech, technology, all of it. It can be brought to regions of the world that are underdeveloped. So we're tackling Sierra Leone, we're tackling Liberia, and these two gentlemen are trailblazers in their wonderful contributions to the whole entire formula. We're cooking up the recipe. These gentlemen are very, very well prowessed on doing the recipe over and over again in their respective lanes. And I'm very happy to be just another chef in the kitchen. So all that being said, Dr. Murad, I have a question for you, my good brother. When you are dealing with wonderful, amazing icons such as yourself, whether it's Bob Iger or Steve Wynn with Wynn Hotel and Casinos, or Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys, and you look them in the eye and they're looking you in the eye, man to man, you both put on your pants the same way in the morning. What is it that you see in these men that's a common thread that you all share? I'm not in that category. You guys are. What do you all share? What is the one common trait that all of you, that you see, Murad, that all of you share? What is that common trait?
I think it's a gift from God. I pray 5 times a day ever since I was 13. I like what my president said. I was 7 years old when I became an entrepreneur. I never worked for nobody in my life. I always did what I wanted to do to take care of my family, to take care of my community, and et cetera, et cetera. When you see the spirit of the human being, because his intellect can be confused, but the spirit is the will of God. And when I feel the spirit, because some things allow you to say, excuse me, I'm going to have to leave. It disturbs my nature. We all have a nature. So when you came to me and you drove 8 hours and I didn't know who you were because the FBI I had to have with me because I didn't know, why are you coming to me? And that's how I met you. I felt your spirit. And the flag man told me the FBI decorated by President Clinton. I went to get him. I sent my executive vice president. He said, you're not going to get him. I got him. He's been with me for over 30 years. And I'm able to now help the houses of worship, protect them. No one will come in there. No perpetrator will come there. I got 20 FBI agents in 20 states that we all talking about how to help the children in the houses of worship. School, somebody can come in your school and shoot your child. So I do that. This is what I'm all about. But allow me to say this. When I got my degree, doctor degree, it was God's soup. I wanted to know, who is this female? She had all houses of worship, 55 countries. She's a doctor, she's a lawyer, she created it. Her name is Diane. I called her Diane. And so I passed her test tremendously and got my doctorate degree. But when it came from the President of the United States and they gave me a gift, and I thank Muhammad Ali, who I grew up with, him and I protected his life ever since I was 16 years old. I was a great martial artist. But his wife was outstanding. And I loved her because of her love. Everything you hear Muhammad Ali said, she wrote it at the age of 13 years old. And she with us now in our corporation. We call her Mama Ali. These type of people is what allows me to grasp to them and take on what their ideas are. He and I, like brothers, Gary, from a different mother, a different father, but our nature is the same. We want to give back, and we saw that you had a skill, you had ability. You does not brag, you does not talk about yourself, but you're doing something to do something for humanity. That's when God is with you. When you do it just for money and you don't give money to the poor, all these major corporations have 501c3 corporations. And what I did with her is I got all the major men like Dave Siegel to do and ask me to take care of his wife and his daughter who lost her life with fentanyl. I said, I shall return. I will return. And this because I have a way. I'm known in 48 countries, including Israel, who calls me and always wanted to talk to me. It's amazing. I'm in all these countries, and I speak on the radio for 2 hours a day for 9 years, and all went viral. I got 2 billion people that follows me, and they are simple little children that loves Murad Muhammad. Now, I didn't ask for that. But when you see that, it's like God saying, keep your good work up, keep the good work up. I'm the only one that got licensed, a casino. I can own a casino in New Jersey, casino license. And I went through hell to get those licenses. I can run for governor. I can run for a senator. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted to prove that Murad Muhammad is clean. And I've never had no cancellation in my 1,000 fights ever in the history of boxing. But why did I go to boxing? I wanted to take those young men that was driving a truck for $250 named Larry Holmes. And I grew up with Larry. And I love Larry. He never made more than $500,000, but he was happy. When I took him over, I gave him 1.2 million. I gave him 3 million. I gave him 15 million. And he invests his money very well with Lloyd's of London, why he makes $1.2 million for the rest of his life, because he invested. And this is how you're supposed to teach these children. I shall return, God willing, I shall return, because I do real fights. I patent that. Real fights. Murad Muhammad promotes real fights. And that's why Madison Square Garden love Murad, because I sold it out. Like you said, I sold out every arena. What's his name? Steve Wynn didn't come off the market into the lineup, and I took him to a level he never went to. This is what I do. This is how I do it. And I'm thinking all the time. I didn't ask to be president. I didn't ask to be the executive, whatever you would like to call me. I said, I want to deal with your mind. You got a good mind. And you give me accolades because I tried to steer you the proper way. And when you go over countries, you got to be under the FBI for anything. And I gave them to you. And the FBI made sure nothing comes around you dirty like I have. Nothing can associate with me unless we check you out to see if you're not going to make me dirty. I will say this in my closing statement. I will say this. I don't do it for me. I'm trying to make it to 7th level in heaven. First level, you crawl in there. The second level, you did pretty good, but the 7th level, and all you have to do is do what's right by the will of God. Amen. To be able to give back to everybody that needs help. Look at the Jews today trying to help Israel in the sense of the word, stop the war. They're asking for it. They're crying about it. And they're Jewish. Because those men and women and children are in their hearts, their God's will. And that's what is needed. That's what we ought to do. Money comes, money goes. I want to say this to you. I was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but he never taught us religion. He taught us to not be junkies, don't be dope dealers, do not go to school, learn, and he taught us how to be clean internally before you can come to God. So we give him thanks. And the flagman said it. J. Edgar Hoover saved his life. No one could touch the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for what he did around the world for men, women, and children. And this is not because of Caucasians. He said, get those colors out of your head. Get out of kindergarten. Your brother acts like your brother. Your brother do what you want for yourself, for your brother. And we don't look at color. We look on how do you do what you do in the world. And that woman that gave us birth, 9 months of hell, 9 months, and we wasn't even alive until she pushed. And when that baby came out and breathed in the spirit, it was alive. And once it got in her arms, the pain went away. She had another one. She had another one. Like my grandmother had 16. So what are they, freaks? No, they're the gift from God for the world today. And we have to respect and help these children to be who we should be, stand on our shoulders and be everything that we want to be. That's my humble opinion.
And we thank you for your humble opinion, Rod. You you could probably take over as the host of this show and give Kaya a run for his money. You are an amazing speaker. And that having been said, let me just clean one thing up. But he's talking about the FBI as a Warren Flag. Warren Flag is part of our organization. Kaya, I believe you met him last month. Warren Flag is the most highest decorated FBI agent under the Clinton administration, and he's the one who investigated all of boxing. He's the one that said Murad is clean, and then they became brothers shortly after that, because it's funny how, you know, good guys, bad guys, all guys come together at the end of it all and forge wonderful brotherhoods, and their brotherhood is a whole nother book for all of us to read. Murad has a iconic American story that everyone needs to be acquainted with soon when we come out with his story. But that having been said, that's a conversation for another time. Let's bring in our president, Mr. Gary Kudak. Gary, thank you for waiting in the wings. You know, Kaya, I know that we're running out of time, but real quick, Gary, in closing words, what is the most important, meaningful mission and vision for Revel Nation? What's the most meaningful part of Revel Nation for you personally, that fulfills your soul, that that you relish in about what we're doing? What's the most meaningful part of it for you?
I think legacy is the wrong word, even though that's an outcome of it. But I think it's the feeling deep down inside that you know that you've used the gifts and the opportunities that were given to you to have the maximum impact on the world. And I think that's what Revel Nation offers. And, you know, the scope of that is immense, including, you know, an amazing education platform that's really going to maximize the type of opportunities that everyone has from all walks of life. But even in with, you know, building homes and building dams and bridges and, you know, homes and agriculture and everything that people need to, you know, once they're not busy surviving, they'll be busy thriving. And knowing that we did our best with the opportunities and abilities given to us to achieve that, I think is the ultimate.
Fascinated because the money didn't get to the people after a catastrophe. No more getting in all grades of money, and then presidents in third world countries take the money and leave after they're out of office, and then they discover after they're gone that there's no money in the coffers. So we are there to right the wrongs of what's happened before in the past. We are there to make sure that the results of all the projects hit the people, that the schools are built, the hospitals are built, the universities are built, the infrastructure, the dams, the bridges, the energy grids, the agriculture, the water, the waste of energy, and, you know, just everything gets done so that the people can elevate their standard of living. So the mission and vision for Revel Nation Enterprises Incorporated is to basically take all of those projects, connect them to reputable funds, and then make sure that it's implemented in a manner that's proficient so that there's long-term sustainability across the board. And so we are driven and focused on making that happen for the people. And that's it. So with that being said, Kaya, thank you so much. We are humbled and honored to have you as our wonderful, amazing host. You're not only a CEO coach, you're not only a wonderful leader, you're not only a great and fantastic host, but you are a fantastic human being. And I'm humbled and honored to call you one of my new best friends. Murad, Gary, you have competition. I love Kaya too. I love Kaya too. So all of us together get strengthened to bring results for mankind.
Thank you so much.
Everything.
Communications, everything. Yes. So one more time, Pete, what's the website or the two websites? We're going to put it in the chat again. Please check out these projects. The whole thing around be the change you want to see in the world, and the idea that we are all one and we help our brothers and sisters in other countries. We're helping humanity. And that's what this is about. So this gets to happen. Thank you so much, Pete, for taking a stand, Gary and Dr. Murad, for everything you do.
I would like to make another statement is about what Peter is saying. I want you to know that I said no to Peter 5 times. And the flag man says, sign the deal. Sign the deal. He said, I said, if he said it the 5th time, I'll sign it. So I made him take a picture with me because I don't know Peter. I felt his spirit. So he walked me out to my automobile and he said, Murad, in my life, I took down all these major corporations. He said, but I never seen a black man on ground zero. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, on ground zero, like the Bill Gates and all the rest of them, he says, when that corporation is launched, millions of people comes to that corporation. You know who gets the money first? The one is on ground zero. I've never seen a black man on ground zero. Well, I was on ground zero. And we are so close. He's like my brother from a different mother. I want to make sure where he's doing, how he's thinking, so forth and so on. And it's the greatest thing, the greatest gift. I had to say that because I want to teach it. You have to come with people who was gifted, who had the schooling, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But keep in mind, knowledge is something you learn. Wisdom is what you experience. And to get wisdom that's what I've been taught by many people, and plus my Jewish brothers who just took me under their belt and taught me how to get your money going in, because you can get it going out. Thank you. And I appreciate you. And we just got another brother that's going to keep us known around the world with this great paper that you have, because when I saw it, I said, oh, this is California.
Yep.
Well, we want papers around the world, and this app should do just that. I want to ask you a question. Can you tell him who is the man that controls our app? I think it needs to be exposed because he is one unbelievable individual, Peter.
Okay, so another unbelievable individual that is a third party. He's paid by us, but he's not part of our internal core. He's a separate entity all by himself. He's a federal court judge. He's got certifications from the CIA, certifications from the FBI, certifications from the Texas Rangers, and he just got accepted into the Secret Service program. So he's now starting the Secret Service certification process, and that's none other than Phil Schelt. Phil Schelt, I've never even met in person, but it turns out I found him. And then years after I'd been with Murad Muhammad and years after I'd been with Phil Schelt, I find out that these two men not only knew each other, but were good friends. And this is 2 years into me dealing with each of them individually. Murad Muhammad never mentioned Phil Schelt. Phil Schelt never mentioned Murad Muhammad, but the way the universe works, it's all a very tight circle. And let me tell you something, it's affirmation and confirmation that you're following the white light to serve humanity with no ego, no pride, no glorification. We're not doing this for self. I'm fine in the shadows. I can be behind the curtain. I don't need any kind of glorification or edification. And honestly, we all live modestly, very modestly, and we're just serving the people. And it's about results for the people, by the people, through the people, most importantly, for the people. So that having been said, Kaya, we welcome you.
Hold it there. Jerry Jones wanted to be my partner. He had 2 phones in his ears. And I said, Jerry, my wife won't allow me to have one in my ear. What are you doing with 2 phones? He said, well, I went belly up. I said, what that mean? I lost 125 million. I said, well, what are you doing in the other ear? He said, I'm buying another Orwell for 125 million. I said, Jerry, I thank you because I've always wanted to be this person that can give 25 million for whatever I wanted to give it to. So God is not trying to punish me. He's saying, see, you can do it. You also can do it yourself, and it's got to be a different way. So I said to Jerry, Jerry, I don't know if I want you to be my partner because I will not get no credit. They would say your money is what made Murad Muhammad. I built my money from my bootstraps. And he says, Murad, I love all these guys that come to me. I don't talk to my players. He said, but I have a great respect for you. He said, I want to know something. Should I be with the greatest promoter of all times and we'll go to another level? Or should I go to my grave with my boots on as a cowboy? I said, I believe you should go with your boots on and go to cowboy. Now, how is it that I have to call his wife to get him? Right, he just went on the plane. Nobody gives you the wife when she is sacred, not secret, sacred. I will call her and say, where's Jerry? So Jerry, I said, Jerry, I need you. He said, what you need me for? I said, I want Giant Stadium. He said, Murad, you coming back? I said, no. What you want to do? Pray. He said, oh, Murad, okay, I'm going to show you how to get the Giants and how to get the Jets. So I got the stadium. Everybody thought I was out of my mind. I put 120,000 people in that stadium for prayer.
Wow.
2 years ago. That's my humble opinion. I got 1,000 more stories.
You have so many stories. You know what? We look forward to having you back, Dr. Murad, yourself, Gary, please, and Pete. We have events like this, Leadership Summit, Quantum Leap Summit, Think and Grow Rich Summit, to continuously add value to the world, to bring wisdom, insights, solutions, and unlocking the success secrets of the world's top leaders. All four of you, four of us here, and whomever I'm describing that's not even on camera, that's part of the greater team at Revel Nation, are making a difference. So we salute you. One more time, Pete, the website, and then we will see you guys after the break. So what's that website one more time, Pete?
It is www.revelacause.org, revelacause.org, as well as revelnation.com.
Thank you so much. And I believe we have a bonus day in store too, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you.
Let's go. And we're back. Closing day of day 8. And we've got all our amazing co-hosts who have stayed with us through the whole 8 days. And all of the people in our global auditorium, who's still. Karen Hall, you get the MVP of comments with awards, so for sure. Cheryl, Barbie Ray is, second runner-up in awards. Just saying, Debbie Prediger is third runner-up in awards, and this come with prizes. We're gonna email you, I promise you. So with that, let me give it to our co-hosts who have been so amazingly powerful and energetic for the whole 8 day, starting with, on the top left, Parisa Rose.
Wow. Well, thank you, Ava. This has been a journey. I know that I feel like we've experienced a whole lot of life the last week, individually and collectively together here as a group, and with everyone that has joined us. And with all of the guests that came on, all of the speakers, some of them have come on before, some of them were new to the Los Angeles Tribune, but each one provided such great, remarkable value. And especially one of the key takeaways for me was getting to be with Guy Kawasaki and him just really being honest about his learnings, his discoveries, and just calling things out as they are, and allowing things to feel relatable. And it's exactly how I feel each of the speakers were, just so relatable. And to take it back with the both and, we are not just leaders, we are not just people, not just brothers or sisters or moms or dads. We are both. We are all the things, and leaders as well of our own lives. So good to be here with you guys, and good to be able to close this up on a really great note.
Absolutely. And I would say, and I know Mo would say, we are so grateful that we're closing with Rex Sykes with us in our midst. So Rex, drive this conversation in closing. I'll hand the mic to you.
Wow. Well, if you look at some of the comments, you're like, what an amazing event. They're like such, incredible inspiration, or so much inspiration. It has been 8 solid days of 8 solid material, solid inspiration, and just solid offerings coming from the Los Angeles Tribune. The hosts that you see here, the panel guests, the speakers, the authors, the transformational agents who have contributed to all of us all around the world, day in and day out, for the last 8 incredible days. And it has been 8 incredible days. And as we've pointed out before, this is like a buffet. There's maybe not everything is for you, but there's so many things here. So sample it, dive into it. And what I recommend is, there's the replays, just go back and watch and watch and watch again, because there's so many incredible speakers with so many principles and practices and points that you want to put into your life, that you will cheat yourself if you don't make a study of this. I know when Michael starts, he always says, hey, get a snack, get some water, get your notepad, take some notes. I'll let Michael talk. But it is truly, truly worth that investment in yourself. So enjoy the rest of the ride on your own, and we'll see you the next time too. Oh, wait, there's a post events and stuff coming up too, right?
Well, yes. So we are inviting you to register. If you haven't yet, register at laleadershipweek.com so you can be part of the post-event networking. We're building a community. This is not a one-time, and we're creating a movement. So definitely there will be post-event networkings, register so that you can receive the notifications by email and by text, and share it with others. Rex, you're driving this. So call, who's next?
I'm driving this?
Yes.
So, let's go. Right above me is the wonderful Alicia.
Thank you so much, Rex. Thank you so much to all of our co-hosts, and thank you to you all in the audience who've been an instrumental part of LA Leadership Week. And thank you to all of the leaders who stepped up, shared their life experiences, been real and vulnerable with us. I'm deeply inspired by the passion and the commitment that I've seen and that we've all experienced from all of the leaders that have been part of LA Leadership Week. Each and every one of the leaders that have spoken are switching things up. They're changing the status quo, which is big here for us at the LA Tribune, and they're contributing to the world. They're uplifting the world. They're sharing their life's work, their passions, their dream with the world. And that's what it's all about. And so, as Rex mentioned, that there's been so much knowledge shared, so many practical tips, so many ways that you can take action, so many questions that have been posed that individuals can ask themselves. And so this is what LA Leadership Week is all about. It's a journey, it's a discovery back to you, but also understanding that each and every one of us are leaders in our own lives, whether it's with the person that is sitting right next to you, whether it's with your organization. We all have the power to change the world for the better. So I want to say to our global audience, thank you so much for tuning in to LA Leadership Week. Share LA Leadership Week with your community. We'd love to hear from you. Send us video testimonials about things that you've learned during LA Leadership Week, how you've taken action and applied some of the practices that you've heard here, some of the mindsets that you've heard. Share with us how it's impacted your life. We want to continue these conversations with you all. Like Ava said, there's going to be community networking opportunities, but it's really about growing this community and each one of us doing our part to look within and then continue to pour outwards to change the world. And with that, I'd like to go to Dr. Bill Janisha.
No, yeah. What?
Well,
We're passing it somewhere? Okay, go for it.
Good. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I'm amazed. I mean, the LA Tribune events are always awesome, but I want to thank each and every one of you and the other 100 speakers but especially you guys working behind the scenes, because what everybody else didn't see was the energy that you guys put in, and not the work. Work and tasks are pretty much easy. You get a good work ethic. The energy behind it, who you brought yourself to the table. And I think that speaks more volumes sometimes than the celebrity speakers that we had back. But to watch the vortex of the building of it was exciting for me to watch, because there's more speakers and, hey, this person wants to join. Where are we going to fit them in? People going back and forth. Oh no, Ava's blowing up over here. What are we going to do? I need, and that energy, it to me was bigger than the event, because like Ava was saying, is that now we're building a community and everybody out there can feel that same energy that was brought out. And what I say, or what I invite everybody to do, is to keep the momentum going, because now you have the community of the people. You have a place to go learn, be of service, be of value. And, you know, I always go back to Einstein's quote: the biggest decision we have to do is decide whether we live in a a positive world or a negative world. I'm paraphrasing. This last week, especially, and with all you people, has definitely convinced me we live in a wonderful world with wonderful people who want to hear the good news. And you guys brought it, and I'm just so overwhelmed. And I want to thank everybody, even Mo Rock, for putting the vision together. So thanks. I appreciate it. I'm overwhelmed and appreciative.
Well, I love how you said even Mo Rock. But was that an afterthought? We appreciate our CEO, the visionary of LA Leadership Week, Mo Rock.
I joke with Mo. I joke with Mo because of his vision of bringing personal development with good news. It's never been done. But with that, there's a vision, and then there's the people that are carrying the torch. That's y'all. So yeah, I'm proud to be part of it.
It definitely takes a community. And
so while I was
okay,
let me just add that Alicia had a really great idea about the 30-second testimonial. So be sure to do that. And while we're here, and while you're still here, why don't you put in the chat some of your takeaways, some of the speakers you really love, what you got, what you're going to share, what you're going to do. Let's keep the conversation going while we're here together now, and then send us those videos after the fact. And Ava will tell you how to do that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Rex. Thank you, Alicia. It takes a team. I would have not thought of that. But Michael Silvers, let's give the mic to you and your community. You represent the whole community. Your mic, though.
I know it's that mute button, so it's great to be here. It's been a great time. And by the way, the community has just been, I can't even say all of you out there. I'm watching because you're all part of it. Everybody's part of it, but it's been mind blowing what you did. You actually, 2 of you blew up Facebook, so you're now on YouTube. I think that's awesome. And Alicia, they've sent a whole bunch of videos already. They're so excited. They've learned so much. They've got so much, and every day was spectacular. We're here together. But I can't say enough when Ava and Alicia tell you register, the after networking events it's your continuing education. And all of you right now know that you're going to spend time early next week, with the woman who took Tony Robbins to 82 countries for 18 years and blew up Robbins research and created the Platinum Partnership. And then you're going to get to network each other. So if you don't register, you don't get that, right? That's a gift from us. That's a gift of their time. And we're always willing to give you a gift, and gifts will keep coming. So make sure that you're registered. Make sure that you get the information. Keep learning what you did. Take every day, write that pencil, that notepad. Remember what those are, Rex? And make sure that you keep writing every day. Keep your learnings moving forward. From all of us here at the Tribune, it's been a blessing. We're going to go another 27 days, we decided, but it's been so great. The education continues. Thank you so much, all of you. And they pop me on too right now, because they know in a couple minutes I'm going to go and put grandkids to bed, because that's what we do, right? Family first, always in your life, and then you do the rest of it, get it done, and make a difference, change the world. Thank you so much. This is an amazing group of hosts. Ava, back to you.
Rex, back to you.
Rex, back to you.
Back to me. I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of love, not just to me, but to all of us here, because all of us here deserve incredible flowers, I guess you would say, just for being here for the 7 days, so that you could be here with us and with all the 100, 200 speakers that were brought. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity. And I want to pass the mic right over here to, there you are,
Julianne.
You know who you are. It's just very difficult for me to see you. You're
yes,
very.
Julianne, you're on.
I'm stuck in a hotel and there's like no light. Anyway, I apologize for that, but I didn't want to miss this because that's how important this is. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who participated, and that means the people watching. Thank you, obviously, to all the speakers, especially Ava, who hit you guys. We're all singing her praises, because you have no idea how much work she put into this. Not that nobody else did, but her ahead above everybody else. But I just want to say too that yes, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and say, go watch the replays, take action, but don't wait to take action. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until the day after. Don't wait till next week, because next week becomes the week after, and then you lose your momentum. And then all of a sudden you're wondering why it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't actually take the action. You just intended to take the action. So my suggestion is the same as everybody else's. Just do the thing. And thank you so much, everybody. It has been such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, now who's left? It looks like it is Donna.
All right. Everyone, first, a huge thank you to everybody who put together the show and the hosts, because I'm going to say these last 8 days have been my favorite 8 days of this entire year so far. And it's been a blast getting to know everybody, the audience, all of the amazing leadership speakers that were on. It has totally, completely filled my entire heart space. And I just love the number 8, because 8 is the number of abundance. So leadership going into that number 8, and everyone being prosperous and abundant, taking the principles, following through, just like Sharon Lecter said, take 3 takeaways and implement them. It's not that hard. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And back to you, Ava. Thank you so much, everyone.
We've got Rachel Weaver.
Yeah, Rachel.
Oh, my goodness. I apologize.
I'll forgive you, Rex. No.
I apologize.
No, so grateful to hear from each and every one of you. Yes, I want to lead with, we're so grateful that you're closing out this segment with us, Rex. First and foremost, I have to put that above everything else, because, none of us really understand how the depths of, we're not promised tomorrow until we have a scare, right? So in reality, we need to be grateful for every day that we wake up. And I know we've become a family here at the Los Angeles Tribune. So like Ava said, we're creating a community, but it is a community of family. We care deeply about each other. All of us were frantic when we heard that something was happening to Rex, and we did fall to prayer. No matter what your beliefs are, we knew that there is a power of prayer, and we could absolutely send him love, light, spirit, and energy to be with us. And here you are closing us out. So So grateful for that. And grateful for everyone who tuned in this entire time. We love you for supporting us. We love you no matter what. But just like Julianne said, you have to implement, you guys. Please, please take action. Drop in the comments, who are you going to share these 8 days to? Who in your community are you going to share? Tag that person in the comments and then follow up with them and say, look, you have to watch this 8 days. And then let's become accountability partners. Find someone that you connected with who's been watching with you over the last 8 days and say, would you like to be my accountability partner so we can make sure we implement one thing each day? Yes, I love it. And make sure you register so that you can join us in the after party. We're so grateful for each and every one of you. You have been poured into by some of the greatest thought leaders on the planet. And I'm just going to start with the thought leaders that are right here with us, closing us out, the host. They are absolutely incredible. Without them and the Los Angeles Tribune, we couldn't be here today. So I love you all. So excited to be here on the last day, closing you all out. And I know that we have many things to come for you.
Yep.
Back to you, Ross.
Rachel, you're the best. And I'm going to jump in just for 1 second, and then I am going to go put some kitties to bed. But I want Rex, Rex and I have known each other for a long, at least 100 years. But we are so blessed, first of all, that you're here. And we're also so blessed that Ava and Alicia not only put this back end together, drove this thing home, made a difference every day, literally haven't slept for, a couple months now. And really with Mo, just taking the vision to the next level. Everybody out there, I just want to give them a thunderous, really round of applause, heartfelt thanks. And you guys just brilliant.
Can you imagine, if you don't mind me saying so, can you imagine like planning your Thanksgiving dinner or an Easter dinner or a Seder dinner or something like that with some family and friends and they come over? And yet what Ava and Alicia have done is planned 8 days of events with over 200 speakers and panelists and had to schedule and coordinate and put all that together, plus do all the getting the word out and keeping a smile on their face and working with each. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of work, the amount of hours, the amount of dedication, the amount of sweat, and the amount of love that we have for Alicia and Ava, and for Michael, who just left, and for Julianne, who left, and for Mo, who's not present with us right now, but for each and every one of all of the people who've helped coordinate this thing. Just amazing, unbelievable what you've accomplished.
Well, thank you for those flowers, for everyone who's said their thank yous. But my gratitude is that it takes a team. It does take a community. We've had some of the biggest speakers never seen before all together in the screen together. Thank you for bringing, my biggest takeaway here is Jay Abraham's words: collaborations, connections, and partnerships. This was only made possible because we didn't function as one organization. We functioned with partners like Eric Swanson, like Kaya Redford, like Jim Miller, like Michael Silvers, like everybody on the screen right now that you see. We're all part of bringing all of these amazing leaders together. We want to acknowledge, of course, our biggest speakers who have graced our stage, starting with Russell Brunson today, and Rex, thank you for coordinating that. We've had Sharon Lecter, Les Brown, and you can help me with the names, Jay Abraham, that was also brought by Jim Miller. And then we have Ty Lopez, we've got Ty Lopez, we've got Marie Diamond, Dr. Robert Cheney,
Les Brown.
I mean, like you could say, Les Brown, Brian Tracy through through the work of Eric Swanson. So thank you so much for all the amazingness, like endless amazingness, because of the community of people that we're surrounded with. And of course, we would like to thank our CEO, the visionary and steward of the Los Angeles Tribune from 1886. I swear, I always say he's got the old spirit from 1886, from just the way his heart works and his integrity and how he does business. So much appreciation for all of you. Am I forgetting anything, ladies and gentlemen?
No, I mean, I think this is what it's about. LA leadership, we're celebrating individuals from the inside out. And you heard titans in tech like Guy Kawasaki. You heard NFL Super Bowl champions like Chris Thomas speak. But it's looking at leadership from a variety of different perspectives, spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, your health, how it applies to your business, your family, your community, how do you contribute to the world? That is what it's really about. It is about inspiring others. It is about the spirit of collaboration. And it's about saying that this world can be a better place, that leaders lead, positivity rings true, and there's so much that we can contribute to in the world. But it starts with being aware, and it continues with collaboration and partnership. And it takes the work from each and every single one of us to take that step forward, knowing that we're all leaders in our own right. And we have to lead our lives first so we can contribute and lead others. And it's just been a celebration that has been so amazing to be a part of. So we thank all of the leaders that were honored as part of LA Leadership Week. Again, thank you to all of our co-hosts. And thank you to those in the audience that have been commenting, that have been on the journey with us. We know that there's so much that was covered, that the ripple effect of impact, it'll take time for you to experience within, but also to see how it impacts the world. But it's really about leaders across industries, titans across industries coming together, understanding the vision, which is how do we lead the world into a better place. And thank you again to our CEO, Mo Rock, for your vision. Like Mo says, Fashion Week celebrates fashion for a week. We're celebrating Leadership Week from the inside out. And great leaders have really changed the world. And every one of you has a story, and each and every one of you has the ability to change the world. So we just say thank you, and we're excited to see what you continue to do with all that you've experienced as part of this journey we've all been on together.
For sure. I love what Karen just said. Mo Rock, vision and momentum. That's the great close for the night. I want to thank all of our co-hosts who stayed up. It's almost midnight Eastern time, and of course 9 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you for coming to close the show powerfully. Leaders finish strong, and the leaders here are committed, dedicated to finish strong. So with that, we wanted to close with the TEDx talk of our CEO Mo Rock, the visionary and steward of LA Tribune. And we invite you to just send him some love and appreciation for the vision and for stewarding news that's inspiring, educating, and empowering. Good night to all.
Until next time.
Bye-bye, everybody. You are awesome.
You are awesome.
Imagine waking up in the morning, grabbing your morning coffee, and opening up your daily newspaper to nothing but headlines that inspire and uplift you. Headlines like the Apollo 11 moon landing and how it inspired people in the 60s, or headlines like the Berlin Wall has collapsed, or even more recently, headlines like the miracle on the Hudson. What would that do to your day when you started off with just positive news? My name is Mo Rock. I'm the CEO of a national newspaper brand, and today, together, we are reimagining journalism. You see, studies reveal that there is a stark contrast between positive news and negative news. In fact, For every piece of news that is solutions-based, that can uplift and inspire you, there are at least 17 that don't. That's 17 to 1. So today, we are actually faced with an epidemic of negative news. We've all heard the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. But why does this have to be the centerpiece of a lot of news production, journalism, and content creation of the world today? There are a lot of incredible journalists that are solutions orientated, and I give a lot of credit to them for doing a great job. And here's the truth that you may not realize, is that everyone in this room is impacting our news. You see, every single time you like a post, every single time you leave a comment on a news article, and every single time you share something, you're not just liking, commenting, and resharing. You're actually casting a vote. You're not only casting a vote for the kind of news you want to consume, but believe it or not, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. You see, I believe that news has the power to not just inform you, but it has the power to mold you. Our world views are largely shaped based on the news and content that we consume. And so I want to encourage folks to remember that the next time that they like, comment, and share. Our organization has one question that it always has to ask before we share anything, print anything, or publish anything. Our editorial team asks this one very simple question. Does the following piece of news empower our audience, or does it disempower our audience? What would the world look like if every content creator, every journalist, every time someone posted a news article, they asked that question? Does the following piece of content empower our audience or disempower our audience? And I want to encourage everyone to participate in this process and help us bridge that gap between 17 negative news articles for every one positive. And let's come together and ultimately make this world a better place. Thank you.